Well, it immediately became reassuring to me that the reputation of our baseball program was still very strong out there in the Division I baseball world, because it didn't take long at all for my phone to start ringing and my text messages to start blowing up, and a lot of inquiries about the job. Of course, we have a great network of former NSU coaches out there, from Rob Childers to Dave Van Horn to Jim Wells to Mitch Gaspard to John Cohen to Mike Bianco, and right on down the line. And I think those guys still care a lot about the program as well, so they got involved in the process, which was nice. And really, within about a 7-day period, we had a great applicant pool with which to start working toward getting our new coach.
All right. Talk about narrowing down the field of candidates, and talk about what you wanted as a head coach for the baseball program.
Okay, I had some great conversations with some really good candidates, and some of those guys are guys who've been here before. And I always think it's neat when people have been here before and they want to come back. I think it says a lot about Natchitoches. It says a lot about our university and our athletic program. But ultimately, we settled on Lane Burroughs as our choice for this job. We just thought that he brought so many qualities that the program needs right now. And I think those are the two operative words, right now. I mean, he brings a ton of not just Division I coaching experience, but coaching at the highest level. I mean, he's been to the College World Series, he's been to Super Regionals, he's been to regionals, he's won championships. He's worked for 3 national coaches of the year throughout his career as a coach. Great hitting guy. Everywhere he's been, especially Southern Miss, Mississippi State, when they talk, you have to have talent. Everybody says, every coach will tell you, I'm only as good of a coach as the players I have on the field. And he's been the guy at both of those places who has been the lead recruiter. He's gone out and found the talent, identified it, and attracted it to the university. And obviously, we need to continue to do that here. I think perhaps something that really set Lane apart was on the personal side. I just really liked his approach. You talk to some of the guys, whether it be John Cohen, Mitch Gaspard, guys like that, and something that stuck with me was like Mitch Gaspard, the head coach at the University of Alabama, who used to be here and knows Lane real well. Mitch made the comment that whether it's talking to a booster, to an administrator, to the parent of a player, when Lane Burroughs walked away from that conversation, that individual or that group was going to say, there's a classy guy. And I just think that Lane is going to have a public persona that we need both on campus, even within our department, and especially in the community. I just think that's really important at a place like Northwestern, in a smaller town like Natchitoches, where everybody knows everybody. So, like I said, just a lot of good qualities, and just such a solid person, and we're really excited to get him here.
If there was one word you can describe in terms of Lane's personality, what word would you use and why?
Boy, that's one word. I don't know. I'm going to run all the letters together and say the one word is got it together. I know that's cheating, but he's got it. He's got it together. It's kind of like Jim Wells said. It's just his time. I think Jim Wells made the comment that when someone suggested to him, and Jim was a coach here, got our baseball program really rolling back in the early 90s, and then went to the World Series at Alabama and had a great career there. But Jim said when someone threw Lane Burroughs' name out at him as somebody who might be a good prospect for our job, he said he just stopped and thought, yeah, that just sounds right. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Lane just has a presence, and maybe that's the word that we're looking for. He just has a presence when he walks into a room, and it's not an arrogant presence, it's not an overwhelming presence, but it's just a presence. And once again, I had the chance to watch him interact with the interview committee, interact more one-on-one with me, watch him, and I knew him as he interacted with individuals in the community, got great feedback from the players who were able to meet with him during the interview process. And I just think that there's a presence there that I think is going to be really good as he leads our baseball program.
It's interesting that you mentioned presence, as all of the Demon athletic programs have presence in the community. Can you shed any light on Lane's expectations of community involvement?
Well, we have to have community involvement. I mean, we're not going to. I don't think we're going to mince words. I mean, we've got to have support, whether it's support on a game-by-game basis, just by having people in the seats, or it's on a larger scale to get some facility improvements done at our stadium. But doesn't matter if you're a major Division I program or you're a mid-level like us. you've got to have community involvement and community support. But part of that falls on the coach. I've told our coaches that before, that that if you have the title coach in front of your name and you carry yourself the right way, you have that presence, that people will respond to you. And I think it's imperative that our coaches take steps out toward the community. And the thing I've always said about Natchitoches is, if you take one step toward Natchitoches, Natchitoches will take 2 steps back towards you.
Any last words about Lane that you would like to add about this upcoming school year and season for the Demon baseball team?
Well, I just think that what Lane's going to do is he's going to come in with an expectation for success. I think Lane's going to focus on the assets that we have, and I think that no matter what level you're at, and I know athletic directors and I know coaches at all levels of Division I athletics, and no matter what level you're at, you can talk about your assets and you can talk about your liabilities, but if all you do is focus on your liabilities, then you're not going to get very far. And Lane Burroughs is a guy that's going to focus on what can get done. He's going to focus on what we have, and obviously you continue to try to make it better all the time. But I just think he's going to carry himself in a way, and it's, quite frankly, goes beyond baseball. It's a culture in our department that I think we're really developing in the last 6 to 8 months with some of the hires that we've made, with some of the people we've brought on board, and some things we're doing internally to create a culture that we're going to find a way to be successful. We're not going to allow finances alone to define us. And I think that's something I learned from a friend in the business, that you've got to focus. There are not dollars. The scoreboard doesn't have dollars. The scoreboard has numbers. And we're gonna be successful. I mean, I think if you look at our baseball program this past year, we had talent. We had 3 guys drafted. We had the 3rd most all-conference players. So I think it's not as if we don't have a campus or a community that can attract quality student athletes. And I think Lane's just going to bring that positive, can-do, find-a-way attitude. And I think the result is what everybody's going to want. That's getting back to Demon baseball, which is challenging for championships and challenging for postseason NCAA competition.